It's yours truly, Hillary Kareen, again of Oggunsgarden, and I present to y'all today the very first episode of Garden TV. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as click the notification bell so that you never miss a post. So on today's very first episode, I would like to talk about my very first experience getting a cleaning as a child of Ogun. Now, those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Hillary. I am a priestess of Ogun. I have Ogun crowned. I practice in the Lukumi faith, Santeria, and I am an Epetebi of Ifa, which means I got my hand of Ifa. And I actually have my hand of Ifa. I don't know if y'all see this on Instagram and TikTok and everywhere. There's these random babalaos and spiritual people. All of a sudden, everybody has their hand of Ifa. No, I actually got my real hand of Ifa, like Israel. Period. But anyways, so let us get into a little stroll down memory lane as we continue to fire up on this new series, right? So I got my very first consultation at the age of 14. I am of Jamaican descent, so I've always had a gift of speaking to the dead and like mediumship and, you know, all those things. Like that was who I've always been. And the way that I've coped with my own spiritual journey is identifying myself with my three eyes. It's important that you understand the way that you communicate. It's important that you also understand where you come from. And it's also important for you to understand where your spirit lies. Where does your spirit originate from? So without further ado, let us go straight into this story time. It was wild when I was 14. I had a really bad temper. So, my mom was like, you know what? My daughter needs some type of help. Like it was like so much fire. So when I went and got my reading and my godfather was talking to me, I was looking at him like, how the hell he knows so much about me? Like, what you know about me? But that was what gave me a sense of community. What I would like to say is growing up in a Caribbean household, or as an African American in general, a person of color, whether you are Latino, whatever it is, our family dynamic sometimes can be corrupted. Sometimes we do not have the necessary support that we would like. Sometimes you could feel like you are an outcast, like you're insecure, like you're misunderstood. People could have considered your temper as problematic, when in reality you having a temper could have just been that you were sad, could have just been that you were hurting, but you didn't have the right emotional intelligence set in place to bring you out for you to communicate thoroughly what it is that you're feeling. So I would like to take a moment to speak to people that are feeling like that right now. If you are going through that, I want you to know that you are special, you are beautiful, you are unique, you are powerful. You did not stumble upon this video by chance. You are a god. You are a goddess, and there's something phenomenal on the inside of you that God is going to do. So while I was getting the consultation, I started feeling my layers peel away, and that's what really made me open up to Ifa. Then as I started doing the tarot, I started getting more comfortable into myself. I started reading a whole lot about the tarot and learning about ancestral veneration. The very first cleaning that I've ever had to get after my reading of Ifa was actually a Headrogation. And on my way to getting my first Headrogation, my mother and we got into an accident. Now, what a lot of people don't tell you is when you are starting your spiritual journey, you have to expect to go through trials and tribulations. If you find yourself following the word of God now, you're trying to get back into church or trying to go back to the Orisha, whatever your faith is, please expect to be fought hard from the deities of hell. So a Headrogation is used to refresh your Ori, is used to bring you balance, is used to bring you calming energy, is used to align you back on your destiny. Now, when I was on my way to get the Headrogation, I didn't even think much about it, but I knew that it was something that didn't want me to get that, but my mother still made it possible. Then I did a white bath. Once I was able to do the white bath, I started noticing that I was feeling calmer and more enlightened and stuff. A white bath is more so just a bath of white flowers, efun, another word, cascarilla, a little bit of colonia, a drop of honey and a drop of milk, and an egg white. That's a white bath. Anybody can make it, okay? Doesn't take a rocket scientist. If you don't know how to make it, now you know. So when I did that first cleaning, at first I was like, what the hell is this? And then it really heated up because I needed to do another cleaning with a bird. The second time that I got the cleaning with the bird, I think I was about 15 at that time, and I was looking at my godmother like, you gotta be kidding me, but I went along with it. Then I started working in the botanica around the age of 18. But before I get ahead of myself, when I was about 16 years old, I started really researching the Orishas, and I started reading the book called Santeria in Latin America. That book is official. I think that everybody that's under the sound of my voice, if you're looking for it, you should go read that book, because that book has so much gems in it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Santeria in Latin America. Get that book. If you're looking to get another book, you can do my Santeria experience. You can do the powers of the Orisha. Get yourself a book of Psalms as well. And have a Bible. Everybody here needs to get a Bible. Period. Get yourself a Bible. So boom. So around the time I was about 16, 17 years old, I remember going to my godmother's botanica before I received my hand of Ifa. Actually, I was 17. Before I received my hand of Ifa, a few days before the ceremony, I walked up to, she had this really big glass display. I walked up to the display. I looked at Ogun's statue. I said, you're probably my guardian angel. And I said, nah, you too manly to be my father. You bugged out. So boom. The days of the ceremony come. Side note, the amount of days of an Ifa ceremony is 3 days. You have to be in person to receive Ifa. You need to be in person to receive your hand of a Rula. So please, find yourself a babalao that surrounds you and receive your hand of Ifa with the babalao. And it has to be 2 or 3 babalaos in the room present for you to get your guardian angel pulled. We don't pull guardian angels over the phone. No, you don't get your guardian angel pulled through the tarot. Some houses, they do believe in using the cowrie shells, because the cowrie shells represent the mouth of the Orisha. I'm going to get into that later on. But, you know, that's still subject to change. You really want to just get your hand of Ifa. Just go full throttle. It's lit. I'm trying to tell you, it's lit. So, boom. I get ready to receive my hand of Ifa. Now, this is where it gets crazy. On the day of me receiving my hand of Ifa, I was so mischievous. I remember everybody thought that I was a child of L.L.C. I was hiding stuff. I was laughing. I was peeking when I was supposed to have my eyes closed. Like, it was crazy, okay? My godfather was like, you are a child of L.L.C. And they thought my mother was a child of Ogun. Come to find out, my mother's a child of L.L.C. And I end up being the child of Ogun, which meant that when I looked at the statue, I was actually right. Let me just tell you, what they don't tell you when you receive your hand of Ifa is your life really changes. I was 17 years old with my hand of Ifa, and I remember showing everybody like this. Like, this is real. When you first get your hand of Ifa, you're going to be flashing it around like this. Like, oh my God, look at me. You want to use your left hand for everything, y'all. Your spiritual bracelets go on your left hand because your left hand connects you to your heart. Can't say I didn't teach you nothing. So, imagine at 17 years old, I get my hand of Ifa, and everybody was telling me, I had some people tell me that I wasn't a true child of Ogun. I was too sensitive. I was too this. I was too that. When I hear people talk about the archetypes of an Orisha's child, I don't really fit the mold of a typical child of Ogun, if you will, because they say that children of Ogun are husky and they're mean and they're brutes and they're drunks and they like to party and they're this and they're workaholics. But Ogun is actually very sentimental. Ogun is synchronized with St. Peter in the Catholic Church, which means that when the Santeria faith came from Africa over to the Caribbean islands, and I mean the Caribbean islands as Jamaica, Panama, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Trinidad and Tobago, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, all of the Caribbean, they brought the different tribes from Nigeria along with them. And the way that they brought the secrets of the Orishas with them is on their hair through the cowrie shells. That is why you see people using cowrie shells on their hair. Cowrie shells back in the day was their form of currency. Cowrie shells represent wealth. Now that we got into that part, Ogun is the Orisha of work. Ogun is the Orisha of tragedy. Ogun is the Orisha of stability. Ogun is your first and last heartbeat. He is your heartbeat. Ogun represents the heart chakra. Ogun is the metal in your blood. Ogun is just that nigga. Like, when you really look at Ogun, if you, please forgive me for using the N word, but in my opinion, If you were to put Ogun up in a dictionary and say, who is the MVP? Ogun's face would be right there because Ogun is in everything. But everybody fears Ogun because they associate children of Ogun with us just being big and husky and brutes. Some are not. We're actually really trill. Like, some of the funnest stuff happens with children of Ogun. Like, if you really want to experience life and have fun, get yourself a child of Ogun or a child of Elegua. I swear to God, the turn up will never be, it will never cease to exist. Like, we just turn up. We wake up lit. We go to bed late. Like, everything is just a party for us. But we really know how to work, okay? We know how to get things done. We know how to show up for the people that we love. The only thing that I notice about being a warrior Orisha's child is that we have a lot of people that copy us, that imitate us, that envy us, and that seems to be something that a lot of us in this world go through. So if you've been experiencing that, you're not alone, sweetheart. I'm here with you. Be right here, so don't worry about it. But what I will say is that when you do go to receive your hand of Ifa, it's important that you read about all the different Orishas, because consider the Orishas as elements of nature, because the Orishas represent nature to us. We worship nature. We don't believe in putting... We shouldn't put the Orishas in the space of God, but I've noticed that in this community, we're starting to do that. We're starting to put the Orishas in the position of God, and that is why people are starting to throw away their Orishas, and they're starting to lose sight of who they are because they are not remembering that a God lives inside of them. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in this world. You are a god. You are a goddess. You are a king. You are a queen. You have to understand the power of your mind. You have to understand the energy that you dwell with. So when you find Ifa, don't just narrow yourself down to one Orisha. Understand that you are all of the Orisha's children. Understand that when you start your journey, no matter how young, no matter how old you are on a path. You have to see it through, my boy. You got to go all the way to the end goal of this, because that is how you will reach your highest potential. So in my ceremony of Rula, one of the most amazing things that I realized is that I didn't know that I was me. What they don't tell you is when you go through your hand of Ifa, you're actually being reborn again. It is how you are getting placed back on alignment with your path. Now, people that wear the beads of Rula is to protect you from death before your time, because there's a story that Iku was snatching souls. Iku is death. What do you see happening today? Tragedy, death, suicide. You go outside, you turn on the news. What we see in movies is happening in this world. Iku was outside right now. So around the time, I only suppose, I wasn't there, Rula saw that Iku was doing that, and he said, you know what, I'm going to invite Iku over. So he invites Death to his house. Death comes over. Death falls asleep. He takes her scythe. That's what she used to take the souls. When he took her scythe, she woke up. She said, where's my scythe? Give it back to me. He said, I will only give it back unless you promise to not touch my children who wear this bracelet before their time. Rula is the witness. Rula is the one that comes into our life to help direct us in our path. And Rula definitely is your roadmap, but Rula is not God. Rula is just a guide that leads you back to God. Your godparents are supposed to be the elders that lead you back to God. We have lost sight of the gods within us. Sweetie, if you look at yourself in the mirror every day and you realize who you are as either mind, either body, and either spirit, you will realize that you are a god and you are a goddess, and God can do anything on the inside of you, but you have to be willing to be used by God. People get their hand of Ifa and they think that they can still do life the way that they've always done it. And I'm going to tell y'all this right now. Just because you wear your hand of Ifa, it does not mean that death won't swallow you up if you're not living in your path. So imagine it's like going to the doctor and getting a physical, and then the doctor tells you, hey, if you don't change your eating habits, you are at risk of having a heart attack. Just because the doctor told you that the chances of your heart attack is slim, it does not mean that you're not going to change your eating habits, because the heart attack could still happen. The whole purpose of Ifa is so that you can expand your mind and stay true to your destiny. Feed your mind, you guys. So as we get on with this journey of this YouTube series, I would love for you guys to let me know how things go on your journey. I hope that y'all enjoyed this very first episode. Please meet me for episode 2, because I'm going to get more in depth of more of my stories, okay?